This episode is sponsored by True Choice Insurance. Here at True Choice, we take a different philosophy when it comes to providing you with your insurance options. We emphasize the value of the products we offer, instead of playing on the fear of you not being protected in your time of need. True Choice is affiliated with more than 60 insurance companies. This makes us one of the most independent agencies in the state of Texas. Please visit TrueChoiceInsurance.com for all your insurance needs.
If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. I see everybody in the comment section. Hash.
Yes. You know who it is. It's your favorite host, the man behind the mic of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast, K-Sap. What's up? I see everybody starting to come in the building, man. I see you, ADP. I see you, Amber Love. I see you, KG 89. I see you, Detroit Gemini. I see you, Slay and Chill. I see you, Terry Jackson. I see you, Jason Brown Ness. I see everybody coming in. Do me a favor. Once y'all come in the live, do me a favor, man. Drop a like on the video. Feel free to chat. Feel free to sit back and listen. Got a great show for you guys tonight. Man, y'all see the title of the show? Flip the script. Man, this stuff be comical now, man. This stuff is real funny to me now because I've told you guys before, man, I keep the receipts, man. I keep everything. I keep everything going, man. I line it up real nice, man. And when you get the flip-flopping, going back and forth, you get yourself caught up in the trick bag. I see all my moderators jumping in here. Appreciate the moderators for coming in. Like I said, for people that's watching, if you don't want to chat, just feel free to sit back and listen. You might learn something or two because we keep it funky and fresh over here at the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast and the Simply Ball Dropping Networks. So y'all sit back and relax and let the story unfold. But I told you guys before, I keep receipts, man. And this is crazy because they flipping the script. It seems like our girl Mary Kay. Like we gotta we gotta talk about Mary Kay. I hate to do this to Mary Kay, but we gotta talk about her, man, because the last live I did, I told you guys it's almost like she's running out of access. Like she don't have no leaks. You know what I'm saying? She really don't have leaks no more. She don't have like the inside intel. So that tells me a lot about Kevin Stefanski. Like he was the mole in the room giving Mary Kay ammunition to go with, right? But it's funny that the tables are turning, right? And the reason I say the tables are turning is because y'all remember all last year when Mary Kay and all the insiders and the beat writers was talking all this good stuff about Dillion Gabriel. He was so much better than Shedeur Sanders. And we saw what happened, right? We saw when Dillion Gabriel went down with the head injury, he was in concussion protocol. And, he never got a chance to get back on the field, right? And Shedeur Sanders took over for the last 7 games. And we saw the roller coaster ride that Shedeur Sanders took us on. We saw great things from Shedeur Sanders. We saw elite talent from Shedeur Sanders. And then we saw some things that, he needs to clean up. But I think over time, he'll get that right. And the reason why I said over time he'll get it right is because I remember last year we was trying to figure out what is Shedeur Sanders doing at practice? Is he getting any first team reps or anything like that? And then we found out when he was thrown in there against the Baltimore Ravens, he wasn't getting no first team reps. And, he had to play catch up and learn on the fly, getting equipped and adjusted to, the number ones, just like the lineman said, they had to, get on sync with him. Shedeur had to get their cadence and things like that. You saw he was off with Jerry Jeudy, but I think that will be cleaned up. And I know I've been on record a while ago saying that Jerry Jeudy was a big play receiver, but he showed me different when he played this year. But I think it'll be cleaned up. And I think Jerry Jeudy is going to have a revenge season. But y'all know what's crazy? You know who's the afterthought in all this stuff that we've talked about? Is Dillion Gabriel. And that's why I said they have flipped the script once again. So now they were so high on Dillion Gabriel, right? They were so high on Dillion Gabriel. Now there's reports out there. Basically, he's on the trade blocks. Free agency starts tomorrow, right? But we've seen some big splashes already in the NFL. We've seen what the Cleveland Browns did at their offensive line. We saw what, they got Titus Howard, from the Houston Texans. We've seen DJ Moore go to the Buffalo Bills. We've seen Max Crosby go to the Baltimore Ravens. So now everybody was high on Dillion Gabriel last year. All the beat writers, everybody was putting this out in the stratosphere that, Dillion Gabriel is the guy. He's better than Shedeur Sanders. Now he's the afterthought. So now Mary Kay has took it as far as saying Dillion Gabriel might be on the move. So when I tell you this, I say this in reference to a lot of people say, Mary Kay, she plays both sides of the field. She's sitting on the fence. Nah, she's not sitting on the fence. She's in the trick bag. She don't have nothing else to report. So now it's just a bunch of stuff that they trying to get answers for, right? So Mary Kay was on the Wake and Bake show with Earl the Pearl. And they was talking about the draft. And I told you guys the other night, and I told you guys before, but y'all didn't want to believe me. I said Andrew Berry, man, is standing 10 toes down. Andrew Berry is a Shedeur guy. And he's going to do everything in his power to get everything right in the Shedeur Sanders situation. So now Mary Kay is just out there speculating. Because Mary Kay, y'all remember when Mary Kay said that they should be kicking the doors down of Kyler Murray once he got released from the Arizona Cardinals. They should be reaching out to Myles Garrett to go reach out to Kyler Murray to bring him in to start over Shedeur Sanders. But now the script has flipped. So I want y'all to listen to what, this is crazy. I want y'all to listen to the tune that Mary Kay is singing now in this Shedeur Sanders situation and listen to what she says. So pay close attention. I want y'all to listen. Take a listen.
Mary Kay, Andrew Berry mentioned at the Combine that they probably will be less active in terms of their pre-draft work they'll do on this quarterback class, just based off the class itself, but also where they're drafting this year. And I know you've written and talked about this already. We know they've expressed at least some interest in Ty Simpson, and everyone's been talking about that lately. And obviously they had him in for a top 30 visit this week. But how motivated do you think the Browns will be to add a quarterback through that method, through the draft this offseason?
Well, I think they will look at them all very closely, and they will continue to do their diligence. But I think that if they draft a quarterback this year, it will be more of a developmental guy and not somebody that is designed to come in here and take the place of Shedeur Sanders. I think they're really excited about Shedeur. They've told us that.
Now, guys, now listen. Did y'all hear what Mary Kay just said? Now she flipping the script, because I've come out plenty of times and said, and look at Earl the Pearl's expression. He just had to throw his hand over his face when Mary Kay said that. Because Mary Kay is saying all these quarterbacks that they should bring in, and now you're saying to us in this little segment that they're satisfied with Shedeur Sanders. They're going to move forward with Shedeur Sanders. And that's the crazy part. Now Mary Kay is singing a different tune. Exactly, Amber. He's trying to hide his expression because he knows, because him and G. Bush talk about it all the time. And it's crazy that Mary Kay says now that they're excited about Shedeur Sanders. They want to move forward with Shedeur Sanders. And I don't think they're going to bring another quarterback in to take Shedeur Sanders' spot. How many times have I been out saying that? Because you got to listen to what Todd Monken said at his, introductory press conference. He was letting it be known, but a lot of people will come in the comment section. Oh, he didn't exactly say that Shedeur Sanders was going to be quarterback one and things like this. And the new offensive coordinator has said he wants to see what the quarterbacks have that they currently have in that quarterback room. So that's Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, and Dillion Gabriel. Now, I want y'all to keep paying attention to what Mary Kay is saying. So take a listen.
They're excited about Shedeur. So I just don't think that the priority right now is for them to go find someone who will overtake him.
Now, did y'all hear that? She said, I don't think the priority is for somebody to come out there and go get to overtake Shedeur Sanders. How many times have I been saying that there's nobody out there of the quarterbacks that they'd enlisted that will overtake Shedeur Sanders? Now Mary Kay is singing a different tune. That's why I said Mary Kay gets herself caught up in her own trick bag on some of the things that she be saying.
This camp, I do think that they are intrigued and they like Ty Simpson, but you have to do that kind of due diligence on him because they have 6, 24, and 39. And when a guy's market starts to set itself in the draft, you have to be ready to go. So even though I don't think that they will take him at number 6, they are looking at him there just to decide if they think that he would be worthy of that pick. But once if he starts to fall a little bit, then you want to be ready to pull the trigger if it makes sense.
Yeah, so based off of that, and the understanding that it seems like they maybe do want to just sort of see Shedeur through and what he brings to the table, and maybe not bringing in somebody that would overtake him, like you mentioned.
Crazy work.
Do you think it's more likely, Mary Kay, that they would sign a veteran quarterback, or that they would maybe draft somebody, like you said, who's a developmental piece that Todd Monken can kind of get his hands on and play the quarterback position that way? Because we know they're going to add at least one more to that group.
Yeah, it's hard to say. If they do add a veteran, I think it would be a younger guy that will have some upside potential and could do something for them down the road. And if they do something like that, and I wrote this in one of my stories.
Now, do you hear what she said? They'll bring somebody in that likely can help them out down the road. When you say down the road, that's not immediate. So basically, if y'all listening to Mary Kay, she's conceding to the fact that Shedeur Sanders is the guy. See, and that's why I told you on the last show, she's running out of options. She don't have sources that she can run to give her information. Now she's going off of her own notion and she's just rambling because she's contradicting herself every time she speaks now. Because just the other day you're saying this. The other day you even said that Deshaun Watson had a 60% chance of starting over Shedeur Sanders.
Recently that, if they bring in another guy, then I think they would be open to trading Dillion Gabriel.
Now she talked about open to trading Dillion Gabriel. But y'all wasn't speaking none of that last year in 2025. 2025, y'all was on Dillion Gabriel's high horse. Y'all was advocating for Dillion Gabriel to be the guy for the Cleveland Browns, while y'all basically was denigrating Shedeur Sanders.
So, I think that's something to watch for over the next week. If they can get something for Dillion, maybe they've seen enough of him, and, maybe Todd Monken has seen enough of him and, what his scheme would be for a guy like that to maybe,
You hear what Mary Kay said? Todd Monken has seen enough of Dillion Gabriel, has seen enough of what his scheme would be. But I said this the other day. I said, I don't know what Dillion Gabriel's trade value would be because he's not worth the 3rd round pick that he was. I mean, it's going to be hard to get, it's going to be hard pressed for Cleveland to really put Dillion Gabriel in a trade package.
out that they would consider moving him. In that scenario, then you maybe go out and find another developmental guy. Maybe you draft, a Drew Eller or a Cade Klubnik or whatever, somebody from a later round in this draft.
Earl and them just cracking up. Y'all see Earl. Earl was just cracking up, man. Let's get to some of these comments, man. Detroit Gemini said, honestly, I think Dillion knows he is good as gone. He in Hawaii chilling without a care in the world. Yeah. Amber Love says, send him to Kevin. Marlon, I've been saying this. It sounds like she has no more BS to report on because I told you guys from Jumpstart when Todd Monken was introduced at the introductory press conference, Mary Kay tried to come out their head first. Todd Monken shut that down. Todd Monken knows the BS. If they can get something for DG. What can you get for DG? You would have to package DG up in some other mix. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what you can get. Make sure y'all hit the like button. We got 101 people in here. Make sure y'all drop a like on the video, please. And if you're watching it on the playback, do me a favor. Hype the video up. Share it out to a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. Amber said, that's what I said. She don't know. Yeah. Yeah, Earl trying to hide his expressions. That's right. I mean, Earl knows. Earl just got to sit there and listen to the BS. He got to do his job. He got to do his due diligence, right? That's the crazy thing. And with Dillion, they booed him off the field. That let the game that Shedeur was playing in the snow and the rain, and his fingernail came off, and he had to go to the sideline, and they brought Dillion Gabriel in. They was booing. That's crazy. In Cleveland. Booing him. Amber says, Shedeur already knew. I believe we never saw the hit that gave DG the concussion. Yeah, I think, Amber, if you go back and really look at it, it was probably the last play going into halftime when DG, I think he took a sack and his head hit the turf. I saw that. So I think that's where it's at. But this is the stuff that I've been trying to tell you guys. Do y'all remember all these quarterbacks right here that they wanted to bring in to upstart Shedeur Sanders? Just look at all these quarterbacks that they talked about, the beat writers, the insiders, in the Cleveland media, and G. Bush had to be the only one saying, of all the quarterbacks that y'all name, ain't none of them better than Shedeur Sanders. But y'all wanted to bring these quarterbacks in. The only one that got a real look is Ty Simpson, because they had an interview with Ty Simpson. But the fact that they talked about Malik Willis, they talked about Mac Jones, they talked about Kirk Cousins, and they talked about Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray just came off an injury-riddled season where he missed like 7 to 8 games. And then Mac Jones has been bounced around. He hasn't been nothing. He hasn't showed no prominence since he came out of Alabama. And then Malik Willis, he has a price tag on him, but you still got, like Michael Parsons said, $1 billion quarterback sitting on your roster, which they had to restructure his contract. They've restructured contracts this offseason to free up some cap space. I mean, what does that mean for the team? What does that mean going forward? We will have to see. But all these quarterbacks that they've talked about, none of them are better than Shedeur Sanders, just like what G. Bush said. So now that all this stuff it's almost like a new shiny car, but you got that Maserati sitting in the garage ready to go, but you want to bring in all these other type of vehicles that need oil changes, that need a new transmission, and need new engines. But you got a fresh, souped-up Maserati sitting in the garage ready to go, and you want to talk about everything else. That's the crazy part. So this is what I'm saying. When Mary Kay starts talking the things that she talks, just go back and listen to what she says before she says her new statements. Exactly. Look, I didn't even want to bring that up, Amber. Look, Amber, I didn't even want to bring that up because they did talk about Geno. They did talk about Geno. And I didn't even want to bring that up. But this is what we say about Mary Kay. A lot of people tell me, man, stop giving Mary Kay attention. I'm not giving her the attention that y'all think I'm giving her. The attention that I'm giving Mary Kay is I'm correcting her on a lot of things that she does. Because you know one thing I'm real clear about, and I've said this many a times, that there's a thing called the trick bag, right? It's a thing called the trick bag, and Mary Kay has been caught up in the trick bag. And guys, if y'all don't know what the trick bag is, she is caught up in this trick bag. You see her feet are dangling out of the bag and she's caught up in it. That's the problem. She's caught in the trick bag. So you gotta pay attention to some of the things that Mary Kay says, because if you just pay attention, she'll tell on herself. Because, guys, y'all remember Mary Kay come out there head first last year talking about Dillion Gabriel this, Dillion Gabriel that, Shedeur Sanders not ready. They want to bring him along slowly. But now y'all have nothing good to say about Dillion Gabriel. Y'all want to trade Dillion Gabriel now. That's how crazy the Cleveland media is. That's what it looks like, guys. I see you, KD. That's what it looks like. But I mean, it's crazy that, we talk about it all the time. Because y'all right. Yeah, the free agency starts tomorrow, Salmore Fudd. It's going to be crazy. Across the board with players, it's a lot of, like I told you guys, they were so focused and hell-bent on trying to find a replacement for Shedeur Sanders, they letting all these other acquisitions and free agents that have been released just get away from them. Titus Howard was a nice splash for the Cleveland Browns at tackle. You know what I'm saying? But I've told you guys, Andrew Berry, he's standing 10 toes down, man. Hey, J. Nicole R. says she don't have no inside source. Her sources have been cut off. I talked about it last show. All Mary Kay sources have been cut off. And that's the crazy thing about it is she has no leaks. Todd Monken ain't going for that. And I told y'all guys, you know what really pissed the Cleveland media off? What pissed the Cleveland media off is, now, guys, I don't know if you guys know this about Todd Monken. Todd Monken is really not a social media person. He don't run the social media. He has X, but he really don't use it. Just go back and do the research. Todd Monken, he hasn't posted since 2022. And the other day, why did he post a picture of him and Shedeur with the porcelain horse head on his Twitter X? And that put the Cleveland insiders and the Cleveland media in an uproar. Like, damn, this cat really does like Shedeur Sanders. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns going forward. And that's what's hurting people. That's what's hurting the Cleveland insiders, man, because I don't think them Cleveland insiders really care too much about Cleveland Browns' success. They so worried about getting Shedeur Sanders up out of here. That's their focus. They could care less about their success. They could care less about their success, because if they cared about their success, they would stop and just think and evaluate Shedeur Sanders from what they saw. Stop using all this other advanced metrics to tell me that he has the lowest QBR. The analytics say he the worst quarterback they've ever seen. I don't want to hear that. Shedeur Sanders went 3-4 down the stretch. Could have been 4-2. We saw some things that Kevin Stefanski did in that Tennessee game that had a lot of people upset. Should have let Shedeur Sanders stay in for the 2-point conversion. They try to run a wildcat possession. We saw that didn't go far. Yeah, I mean, it's certain stuff like that, J. Nicole, that, why should you be shocked that Todd Monken likes Shedeur Sanders? Why? Todd Monken made it abundantly clear. Todd Monken made it abundantly clear that he wanted to recruit Shedeur Sanders coming out of high school to the University of Georgia when he was at the University of Georgia as the offense coordinator. Then he made it abundantly clear when he's with the Baltimore Ravens in the 2025 draft, the Baltimore Ravens tried to draft Shedeur Sanders. That's what I don't understand, why Mary Kay don't understand that. And now that you see all the interaction between Todd Monken and Shedeur Sanders that's putting out there in the public for people to see, which we saw none of that with Shedeur Sanders and Kevin Stefanski. We never saw that. We never saw the interactions between Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur Sanders. He barely said his name at the post-game press conferences and all the interviews. He wouldn't mention Shedeur's name. Wouldn't mention Shedeur's name for shit. But Todd Monken came straight out and said, Shedeur Sanders, I'm excited about him, and I can't wait to get started with him. I think Shedeur Sanders will change Cleveland for the better. The Browns or the media can't get away with their dysfunction any longer. Shedeur brings worldwide attention to the organization. That's right. It's going to be a lot of eyes on Cleveland again this year, and I think it's going to be more eyes on Cleveland because of the fact that everybody's going to try to find out going into OTAs who's QB1. That's the situation. Said, bro, nobody should report on or even repeat anything she says. Just ignore her, only Cleveland media, because nobody else wanted to do it. It's not about, I'm not reporting on her. I never do no reporting on Mary Kay. I'm just giving y'all the facts about Mary Kay and the holes in what she talks about. I'm not reporting on her. I'm not reporting on her. See, when people say y'all should stop giving Mary Kay attention, Mary Kay's going to get attention regardless. If it's not from me, it's going to be from others. But the attention that I'm giving her is not giving her any grace. I'm trying to let y'all know, just listen to the things that Mary Kay says. She has a lot of holes in her reporting and has a lot of holes in her stories that she writes. That's all. That's all. Yeah, Huntley's off the market because he just got himself a $11 million contract. He just got himself an $11 million contract. And then if you go back, I want y'all guys to take a step back. Do y'all remember all the things that Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Reese and them said about Kenny Pickett? You know, Joe Flacco was in camp last year, but they wanted Kenny Pickett to be the starting quarterback. So what happened? Kenny Pickett got released or got traded over to the Las Vegas Raiders, right? And when Geno got benched, who came in the game? Kenny Pickett. Oh, what did Kenny Pickett do? Absolutely nothing. Brian Johnson, I've told everybody that last year about Mary Kay. When she was at the combine reporting about Shedeur, oh, she was all over Shedeur's nutsacks. She was glazing Shedeur, talking about the elite ball placement, the arm talent. But she held on to that information and wouldn't put out the fire when people was talking about DG's, accuracy, but he just couldn't get the ball down the field. She held on to all that information. She held on to all that information. She picked and chose when she wanted to say it. But when she was at the combine up there in Colorado with Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, Jimmy Haslam, oh, she was singing a different praise. That's all. That's all I'm saying. So this is what I'm saying. You just got to pay attention to what Mary Kay says. because she puts her own self in the trick bag. But now she's singing a different praise, man. Now she has this notion about them packing up Dillion Gabriel and telling him to beat feet. The switch up is real. The switch up is real. She also said GM at the Colorado Pro Day said I wouldn't touch Shedeur. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You got to listen. Like we've gone down this rabbit hole before about the Cleveland media. We talked about Jimmy Haslam. We talked about Andrew Berry. Now, even the fact that when Joe Flacco got traded, we talked about Kevin Stefanski not knowing that Flacco was getting traded. That was an Andrew Berry call. Andrew Berry put that call in to get Joe Flacco traded. Regardless of where he was trading into, he didn't care. Trading within the division, he didn't care. But that was just opening up the doors to make it abundantly clear that he's doing everything in his power to open the doors for Shedeur Sanders. Now, you got to understand something. Shedeur Sanders ended off the season as the starting quarterback. Now, why would you go backwards after he ended the season as the quarterback? Why would you go backwards in stripping that quarterback one from him? You see what I'm saying? Why would you even take that from? Why would you even be hell-bent on searching for another quarterback? Because the new offensive coordinator, he wants to see what these quarterbacks have in his quarterback room. And then you go from there and you look at it as, like Denzel Ward said, it's Shedeur Sanders' job to lose. Now, Shedeur Sanders, the only way you can lose your job if an injury occurs. And we don't wish injury on nobody. That's all that is. What's going on, Nicole? Appreciate you coming back. One of my new mods, Nicole B, 869. Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, they can't go backwards. They won the last two games, and that's exactly what I'm saying, Detroit Gemini. There's no way that they can go backwards. Because Denzel Ward said it's his job to lose. And we heard what Myles Garrett said. He's advocating for Shedeur in so many words. And I've said this before, in so many words, Todd Monken loves Shedeur Sanders. And the crazy thing about it is, we heard what Dan Orlowski said about Shedeur Sanders in the past and all this, and talking about Dillion Gabriel had better NFL tape than Shedeur Sanders when the preseason was over last year. Now, Dan Orlowski's talking about Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback to run Todd Monken's system. That's why I say they flipping the script. So, guys, we have to talk about people that flip the script like that. Because my channel, I tell people, I got receipts. And you come at 12 from the Cleveland Browns, we going to call you out. Yeah, Grass and Bass. And they didn't expect him to do that. That's why he's legendary. That's why he's risked up all the time. Oh, Amber, Todd Monken has already put the flag in the ground. When he was introduced at the introductory press conference and Mary Kay came out and wanted to go in their head first and address the elephant in the room about the quarterback one, situation, Todd Monken made it abundantly clear. And then you got to go back and listen to the Pro Bowl interview that Shedeur had with the lady Amber on her podcast, backing up everything that Todd Monken said. Hey, that's all good, Nicole. Do your thing. But you here, though. Appreciate you coming in. That's right, Grassback. He was the first Browns rookie quarterback to win his debut since 1995, and that was legendary. But then also, in the game against Tennessee, he was the first rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl era. Him and Joe Burrow was the only two rookie quarterbacks to throw for over 360 yards with 3 passing touchdowns. But Shedeur Sanders put the icing on the cake with 1 rushing touchdown. And they don't want to talk about that. It's only 2 quarterbacks in the Super Bowl era that have been rookies that have passed for over 360 yards. But see, they want to hopscotch over stuff like that. They don't want to put his accolades out there. And they don't want to count nothing like that. They want to look at these, like Jason Lloyd. He wants to look at these advanced analytics. They want to look at all these advanced analytics to measure Shedeur Sanders. But just look at what he did on the field. Rookie offensive player, exactly. And then you got to go look at the BS that he said on UCSS. If I was Shedeur Sanders, I wouldn't accept the Pro Bowl invitation. The NFL reached out to Shedeur. It ain't like Shedeur went down knocking somebody's door and saying, put me on the roster. The NFL reached out to Shedeur and said, look, we got a Pro Bowl selection for you. Come on down. Looks good on his resume. Yeah, the Himothy Award, Nicole. Yeah, and Shedeur Sanders handles everything with grace. Exactly. He beat Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow had 2 prolific receivers in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And Shedeur Sanders won the battle. Amber said, boy, just do he like to say, hey, I agree with that. And that's why I respect the hell out of G. Bush, because when G. Bush feel like it, G. Bush will light him on fire. He was vacationing in Paris trying to eat, but he got the call. Yeah, to go to the Pro Bowl. He left out of Paris, out of France, when he got the call. But Bull saying, "Oh, if I was Shedeur Sanders, I would have not accepted that." What player in their right mind is gonna turn down an invitation to the Pro Bowl? I know the Pro Bowl ain't like what it used to be, but to have a Pro Bowl on your resume, you was a pro. He did something that his daddy didn't do his first year. He did something that his daddy Dillion didn't do his first year. And Dillion talked about that. But Bull said, oh, hey, he shouldn't accept that. So I don't count that as a real Pro Bowl selection. That's okay, Tammy. As long as you're here, as long as you touched in. That's all that counts. Shedeur is trying to establish goodwill in the NFL, and he's going to need that. Yeah. Mary Kay is not our girl. Nah, y'all leave Mary Kay alone, man. We just call Mary Kay out, man. Let Mary Kay keep doing what she's doing. And she puts herself in her own trick bag. Nicole said, oh boy, if he had said no, they would have been calling him arrogant and thinks he's too. Exactly. So it's a catch-22. 3 and 4 with the 32nd ranked wide receiver and offensive line core. Not bad. Not bad at all. That's why I said I'm glad that, in this offseason that Cleveland went out there and upgraded their offensive line and Titus Howard from, the Houston Texans. That's a great start to this free agency that's going to be kicking off tomorrow. It's going to be free agent frenzy. And we're going to see what the Cleveland Browns are going to do. But you got to look at the quarterbacks that Shedeur did beat. He outplayed Josh Allen from Buffalo. He outplayed Brock Purdy. He outplayed Joe Burrows. He outplayed Aaron Rodgers. But they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about none of that. They want to try to use these advanced analytics. They want to try to use these advanced analytics to judge Shedeur Sanders. Hey, there's 141 people in here watching tonight, man. Y'all do me a favor. Drop a like on the video, man. Appreciate all love and support. What's going on in the dark with a smile with Michelle? I see you in the building. Yes. But yeah, hey, thank you, Amber. We have to talk about it. See, I'm glad somebody understands, man. It's like some of the Cleveland media and insiders, you can't let them get away with just saying stuff and we just stand silent. We can't do that. That's why we have these YouTube sports media spaces on YouTube to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it like this. See, my problem with the Cleveland media is they never looked at Shedeur Sanders, evaluated him from what they seen from their own eyes, right? They evaluated him off of these metrics that they brought out all of a sudden because it was Shedeur Sanders. They brought out all these advanced metrics, went down in the vault to find all these metrics that can slander Shedeur Sanders' performance instead of looking at Shedeur Sanders' performance on how he performed on the field. That's the problem that I have. They never looked at it. The Jason Lloyds of the world, the Anthony Limas of the world, the Jay Crawfords of the world, you know, all these Dan Orlowski's, all these people that was judging Shedeur Sanders off of analytics and different metrics and QBRs. Just watch. And when you watch, you saw different. And they never brought metrics out to describe other quarterbacks around the league. That's what y'all missing. That's the part that you missed. They didn't bring out all these other metrics when it came to these other quarterbacks. And see, that's the problem. I've said this, Amber, I'm glad you brought that up. I've said this long time ago when I started talking about sports. And when I introduced myself to the podcast world on the YouTube media content creation space. A lot of things that people don't understand, that some of the mainstream media, they don't watch sports. When they come in the morning and they do their production, they look at the film, they look at the highlights on what they want to talk about. And that's what they talk about. You got to understand something. Mainstream media has an earpiece that feeds all the information into their ear from the production company and the people that's in the back, giving them information. They don't watch sports the way I watch sports. And I know that for a fact. They watch highlights because their days start too early in the morning. Because of the fact that anything that they say gets fed through their earpiece and they spit it out. That's how mainstream media works. They catch highlights. That's why they have these great production teams to capture and throw highlights up on the board and give you numbers. That's why you see sitting around the table, they have their iPads and all their, electronics to show all that information. Me personally, I don't need all that. I know what I see. I don't have to go off of no advanced analytics to tell me that this person is a bad player or a bad quarterback, a bad running back, a bad wide receiver. I go off of what I see. I go off of my eye tests. I don't use nobody's analytics to judge what Shedeur Sanders did. From what I saw in the last 7 games of Shedeur Sanders, I saw that he belongs in the NFL as a starting quarterback. I've seen the intangibles that a lot of people talk about what he had at Colorado. I see the arm talent. There was a lot of negative stuff coming into the draft talking about he didn't have the arm strength to get the ball down the field. But we saw Shedeur Sanders get the ball down the field in inclement weather. See, they didn't want to talk about that. But they wanted to protect Dillon Gabriel against the Miami Dolphins when it was raining. They just wanted to hand the ball off to Quinshon Judkins and let Dillon Gabriel just roll out and throw these little dips and dunks. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. Shedeur Sanders, like Mel Kiper said, the things that Shedeur Sanders showed in the last 7 games in the inclement weather, he's able to do that. He was able to get the ball down the field. We saw the deep passes to Isaiah Bond. We saw the Tennessee play in the snow, in the rain, in the wet, in the inclement weather. A dart across the middle to Jerry Jeudy, and Jerry Jeudy finally takes it to the house. Hit him in stride. See, they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about, some of the interceptions. And the reason why Dillon Gabriel didn't have that many interceptions, he should have had 5 interceptions in one game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the DBs was dropping the ball. Should have had 3 against my Minnesota Vikings, but we just dropped the ball. And the only reason why Dillon Gabriel had only 4 or 5 interceptions is because of the fact he never took a chance. He never threw the ball down the field. Shedeur Sanders gives them hope. He can stretch the field. They said Shedeur Sanders couldn't scramble. He showed that he could use his feet to get first downs. He showed all that. But they judge Shedeur Sanders off of these advanced analytics and these metrics. Go from what you've seen. Because don't nobody want to talk about the fact that Peyton Manning's rookie year had over 15 to 20 interceptions. Nobody wants to talk about that. And look what Peyton Manning turned in to be. One hell of a quarterback, Super Bowl champion, and a Hall of Famer. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, he had max protection. But now, the fact that Shedeur Sanders understands, he understands. Yeah, look, we already know Kevin Stefanski didn't want Shedeur Sanders to outshine him because that would have made Kevin Stefanski look real bad. That would have made him look real bad. I think Kevin Stefanski was just there in Cleveland. I don't think he cared less if he was getting fired or not. He didn't care if he was getting fired or not. He was just going to ride the season out. He got fired. He knew he was going to land a new coaching job. He knew it. Goes off to Atlanta. Brings in his offense coordinator, Tommy Rees. That's the crazy thing. Because I told people that the Cleveland media was upset when Todd Monken accepted the position because they all advocated for Jim Schwartz. And Jim Schwartz couldn't get out of his own way and got pissed off and put his resignation in. Exactly, Amber. Shedeur was the leading rusher in 3 straight games. But that's the quarterback that y'all said that couldn't scramble. See, that's what I'm saying. They don't use their eyes, man. They don't use their eyes. But that's what it is, man. So you got to understand something. Now that they don't have no sources or no information is getting leaked, what is the media doing now? I would rather to have them insiders talk about what they can do to upgrade the offensive line and upgrade the wide receiver position in the NFL draft. And also in free agency. I don't want to hear no more BS surrounding around any of these quarterbacks. I don't want to hear no BS surrounding around no quarterback that's out there, because all the quarterbacks that we've talked about that have been released or are available, ain't none of them better than Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to stand 10 toes down on that. Because they were so hell-bent, the Cleveland insiders were so hell-bent on Malik Willis. Didn't Malik Willis get drafted to Tennessee and was in the starter and he got yanked? And now he's bounced around. Now he's in Green Bay. Now he's a free agent with a heavy price tag on him. But wherever Malik Willis goes to, me personally, he's not going to start. Can't go to the Raiders because the Raiders got the first pick. They're going to get Francisco Mendoza. They're going to throw him right in the fire. Go to Arizona because Arizona don't have a quarterback because they just let Kyler Murray go. So where is he going to go to start? I totally agree with that. The narrative on 12 is falling apart. They scrambling. They have nothing to report. Because it's kind of crazy because every time a quarterback gets released or a new quarterback comes available, it always generates something in the Cleveland media where it has to be about Shedeur Sanders. Well, if we get this quarterback and bring him in, we can get Shedeur Sanders out of here. This quarterback gives us a better chance than Shedeur Sanders. They just, like Amber, they just out here saying anything. But we catch them slipping every time. See, what they don't understand is, man, they make all their stuff accessible to us. They make everything accessible to us. And when we have access to it, we're going to talk about it. Selmore Fudd said Willis might go to the Steelers if AR retires. Might be a good situation for him, but the situation ain't in Cleveland. Look, Michelle, they don't need no other quarterbacks. They might need to bring somebody in to complete the quarterback room, because if like Mary Kay said, if you're willing to move on from Dillion Gabriel, you got to at least have another quarterback in there, 3 quarterbacks in your room. You know what I'm saying? And I think Deshaun Watson will push Shedeur Sanders to elevate Shedeur Sanders even more than what he is. But you do need to bring somebody in. But you don't have to be hell-bent on bringing somebody in to move away from Shedeur Sanders. You just need to bring somebody in. And, you know, if you can get somebody late in the draft that can be a developmental quarterback to be emergency quarterback, then there you have it. Amber, you took the words right out of my mouth. They just need an emergency backup quarterback, because we saw how the season started last year. Shedeur Sanders was their emergency backup quarterback. It was Joe Flacco was number 1. Dillion Gabriel was number 2. Shedeur Sanders was their emergency backup quarterback. Then when Joe Flacco got traded, Dillion Gabriel was number 1. Shedeur Sanders moved up to number 2, which Kevin Stefanski really didn't want to promote him to number 2. He wanted to promote Bailey Zappi. Now, I think Bailey Zappi will stay on the Cleveland's practice roster and run the scout team. But you have to bring another developmental guy in there. No, I think Bailey Zappi, he's one of them journeymen that will bode well for Cleveland running the scout team, because I think that's what Bailey Zappi's good at, running scout teams. That's what I'm saying. I think Bailey Zappi is good at running scout teams. And I think he's suitable to run the Cleveland scout team because he knows the personnel. But you just need to bring another quarterback in, just like me and Amber just alluded to. You have to have an emergency backup quarterback, because Deshaun Watson, I just don't think that coming off an Achilles injury as a quarterback, and Deshaun Watson's play is not the style of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers came off an Achilles injury, but Aaron Rodgers got the ball off in 1 to 2 seconds. Deshaun Watson doesn't do that. We know Deshaun Watson likes to run around till the receivers get open where he can find a man. He uses his legs a lot. Aaron Rodgers don't use his legs a lot. So coming off an Achilles injury like Aaron Rodgers, it was sustainable because he got the ball out quick. Took less hits. Deshaun Watson, we know Deshaun Watson likes to run for his life. And that's not going to work coming off an Achilles injury. So having Shedeur as quarterback one, Deshaun Watson as the backup, and then your emergency quarterback. That's why I said it's good to get another quarterback in, but all the quarterbacks that they talked about bringing in, they wasn't looking at them quarterbacks that they was talking about bringing them in to be emergency quarterbacks. They was talking about them quarterbacks coming in to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. That's the difference. Oh, Bailey Zappi went to the Jets. Oh, okay. Jets signed him. Yeah. Well, there you have it. Bailey Zappi going. So that's what I'm saying. That's why, so that's why I say bringing another quarterback in. But the new offensive coordinator, you know what the new offensive coordinator said? He wants to see what he has in that quarterback room. So if they don't trade Dillion Gabriel's going to be the emergency quarterback. But I'm just saying, I don't know what you can get for Dillion Gabriel. What you think that Cleveland can get for Dillion Gabriel, guys, if they do decide to trade him, if that's the move that they want to make? Do you think they can get some value, some assets for Dillion Gabriel? A ham sandwich. Amber, you cutting up. A ham sandwich. Because he's not worth the 3rd round pick that he was taken at. 7th round pick. Man, look, sound more fun. My Vikings, man, look, we got quarterback problems too. I'm just not sold on J.J. McCarthy. But I will say this. I'll take Kyler Murray with the Minnesota Vikings. I think he could do something for our Minnesota Vikings. Somebody said a Jolly Rancher and a bag of Cheetos. Man, y'all got to stop that. Dillion Gabriel only worth a Jolly Rancher and a bag of Cheetos and a ham sandwich? Damn. Y'all doing Dillion bad. Yeah, Huntley got 11 million. Huntley got 11 million yesterday, man. That's a good backup for Baltimore because he knows that system. And Baltimore knows what to expect out of Huntley. Snoop is a poor man, broke man, poor man, broke man, poor man, broke man, Lamar Jackson. Yeah. Marlon said he's an emergency room quarterback. Oh, my good. Marlon, you cutting up, man. DG's an emergency quarterback, just barely left the emergency room, the concussion. Oh, man. We all know DG's play on the field was bad. But, hey, leave it to the Cleveland media. That's who they wanted. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Huntley said he wasn't coming back to Cleveland. But, I mean, he said that before the changes was made. He said that before, Todd Monken took the position, the new defensive coordinator, the new offensive coordinator. I think things are trending in the right direction for the Cleveland Browns, man. Things had to change at the top. An emergency quarterback under 6 feet. Y'all cutting up. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, man. So y'all just got to be careful on what the Cleveland insiders and these beat writers say. Kevin Stefanski don't want Michael Penix. He really don't want Michael Penix, man. I think, hey, Kevin Stefanski, if Dillon Gabriel does get traded, Dillon Gabriel might go to the Atlanta Falcons. And I think that's who Kevin Stefanski wants as his quarterback. I think Kevin Stefanski wants Dillon Gabriel as his quarterback. Y'all do me a favor, drop a like on the video. Hey, we're going to pause for a moment, man. I want y'all to drop a like on the video before we continue. Please drop a like on the video. Please. Do me a favor. Just do me that solid and drop a like on the video, man. That's all I ask, man. They're free. Free to drop a like. Y'all can do me that solid. That's all I ask, man. Y'all do me a solid and drop a like on the video, man. We got 140 people in here watching. I only got 97 likes, 92 likes, man. I know the ATL really don't want Stefanski. When we signed his head coach there, Atlanta Falcon fans went crazy. Yeah, y'all just do me that favor, man. Drop a like on the video. Support the channel. Anything that y'all do, be highly appreciated. Super chats is welcome. Donations is welcome, man. That keeps the channel growing and flowing. They said, Jada Cole said Atlanta Falcons going to tear that city up if Dillion come there. Hey, y'all got to look at it. What's crazy is Kevin Stefanski went to the same team that during the NFL draft that tried to sabotage Shedeur and put that prank call in. The son of a Atlanta Falcons coaching personnel son made that prank call on Shedeur. Atlanta Falcons. How crazy does that look? How crazy does that look? Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, man, like Mary Kay, it's quick how they just flip the script. The robbers was from ATL too. Exactly, man. Everything just lines up, man. But they said we was crazy when we talked about it. But we got to be the crazy ones, right? Y'all got to understand something. We the crazy ones, right? So when we talk it, we got to be crazy. So everything that people want to believe, it got to come from the mainstream media. It can't come from the media sources on the YouTube content creation space, can it? It has to. So if the mainstream media don't say it, it's not valid. So if the mainstream media don't say it, it's not valid. But when it comes from us that do our shows on YouTube, they look at us like we crazy. See, and that's why that's why mainstream media really don't like us in this YouTube content creation space, man, in the sports media realm. Because like Draymond Green said, the new media, right? Because we able to give it to you raw and uncut. The mainstream media got to stay on topic. They got to stay on script. Nah, Dillion ain't coming nowhere near Minnesota. Y'all stop that. Don't put that out there. Don't put that report out there. But see, that's the problem. Draymond Green said it a long time ago. New media, the new media. See, mainstream media, they stay on script. They stay on topic. We can do whatever we want to do. We can say whatever we want to say. And they don't like that. So that's why mainstream media be real careful on some of the things they put out in the stratosphere. You know why? Because people like KSAP, SBD, we keep them receipts. We keep them receipts. That's what we do. Man, Judon4908 says Stefanski trading for Shedeur. Jokes, huh? Oh, man.
They only here to cause confusion.
You only here to cause confusion, man. Don't do that. Don't cause confusion like that. Don't do nothing like that. Yeah, Stefanski don't want nothing else to do with Shedeur. Don't Atlanta and Cleveland play this year? Yeah, they'll I mean, I don't say they need to get a legit quarterback 3. They just need to get somebody in there. They just need to get somebody in there, man. Mary Kay is part of the propaganda. Nah, Mary Kay just ran out of things to say, man. Mary Kay's just in the trick bag. She ran out of a lot of things that she says. Like, Mary Kay just don't have, she's dried up, man. So listen, for the people that just now coming in the chat, right? I want to get back to the topic of what Mary Kay said, and the reason why I say the title of the show is they done flipped the script is because Mary Kay right now, she's singing a whole different tune. So I want y'all to listen. For the people that just came in here, we got over 140 people in here watching. Drop a like on the video. So I'm going to play what Mary Kay had to say, but y'all pay close attention to what Mary Kay had to say.
Mary Kay, Andrew Berry mentioned at the Combine that they probably will be less active in terms of their pre-draft work they'll do on this quarterback class, just based off the class itself, but also where they're drafting this year. And I know you've written and talked about this already. We know they've expressed at least some interest in Ty Simpson, and everyone's been talking about that lately. And obviously they had him in for a top 30 visit this week. But how motivated do you think the Browns will be to add a quarterback through that method, through the draft this offseason?
Well, I think they will look at them all very closely, and they will continue to do their diligence. But I think that if they draft a quarterback this year, it will be more of a developmental guy and not somebody that is designed to come in here and take the place of Shedeur Sanders. I think they're really excited about Shedeur.
You heard what Mary Kay said? They not looking to bring nobody in here to replace Shedeur Sanders. They excited about Shedeur Sanders, and they don't look nowhere else. They excited about Shedeur. That's how Mary Kay is flipping the script, guys.
They've told us that they're excited about Shedeur. So I just don't think that the priority right now is for them to go find someone who will overtake him this camp. I do think that they are intrigued.
You hear what she said? I don't think they're going to find nobody that's going to overtake him this camp. And they're very intrigued about him. Keep listening.
And they like Ty Simpson. But you have to do that kind of due diligence on him because they have 6, 24, and 39. And when a guy's market starts to set itself in the draft, you have to be ready to go. So even though I don't think that they will take him at number 6, they are looking at him there just to decide if they think that he would be worthy of that pick. But once if he starts to fall a little bit, then you want to be ready to pull the trigger if it makes sense.
Yeah, so based off of that, and the understand that
now, Nicole, the problem I have is you right there with me. The problem I have, that's not what she said last week. And that's not what she said the other day because she said they should be kicking the doors down and kicking the tires in for Kyler Murray.
It seems like they maybe do want to just sort of see Shedeur through and what he brings to the table and maybe not bringing in somebody that would overtake him, like you mentioned. Do you think it's more likely, Mary Kay, that they would sign a veteran quarterback or that they would maybe draft somebody, like you said, who's a developmental piece that Tom Monken can kind of get his hands on and play the quarterback position that way? Because we know they're going to add at least one more to that group.
Yeah, it's hard to say. If they do add a veteran, I think it would be a younger guy that will have some upside potential and could do something for them down the road. And if they do something like that, and I wrote this in one of my stories recently, that, if they bring in another guy, then I think they would be open to trading Dillion Gabriel. So, I think that's something to watch for over the next week. If they can get something for Dillion, maybe they've seen enough of him and, maybe Todd Monken has seen enough of him and, what his scheme would be.
So basically she's saying Todd Monken feels like he's seen enough of him. He can't run that scheme, right? But we're going to come back to what you just said, Nicole. And I've said it before. That's not what she said last week. And we got more evidence that ain't what she said last week. So we're going to finish this up. And then that's why I said I keep receipts. So we'll finish this up. And then we're going to get off into what Mary Kay said just the other day.
For a guy like that to maybe, that they would consider moving him. In that scenario, then you maybe go out and find another developmental guy. Maybe you draft, a Drew Eller or a Cade Klubnik or whatever, somebody from a later round in this draft.
Now you hear what she said, in a later round. In a later round. So that's basically saying that Mary Kay is conceding. And she knows that Todd Monken is standing on business, right? But this is what I have to do. Because I told y'all, I keep receipts. And this is what I'm going to have to do. This is what Mary Kay was saying just the other day. Pay attention.
The truth of everything. All right, Kyler Murray, the possibilities of him coming to Cleveland are...
Well, I don't know really what the possibilities are, but if I were the Cleveland Browns, I would be kicking the tires on Kyler Murray.
Now, do y'all hear how she started that off? Do y'all hear how she started that off? I will be kicking the tires down for Kyler Murray.
I would be checking into it. I would be reaching out to his agent. I don't know if they have done that.
I will be checking into it. I will be reaching out to his agent. Let's continue.
Yet or not, but I would certainly be doing that. I would not be surprised if they have or will, because that's what you do when you say you're leaving no stone unturned in your quest to find your starting quarterback.
She said in your quest to find your starting quarterback. Now, that doesn't sound like nothing she just said today about moving forward with Shedeur Sanders.
And a Pro Bowler like that becomes available, or a former Pro Bowler becomes available, then you do go out and you check into it. So that's what I would be doing. And if you can get him at a bargain basement price, why not take a flyer on him? He might be someone who could come in here and help you, because even though you're intrigued and excited about what Deshaun Watson brings to the table, no one really knows what he's going to be able to do so far removed from a full season of starting. And then Shedeur Sanders has shown a ton of promise, and as Todd Monken has stated, has elite ability and elite playmaking ability. But Kyler Murray has done it more recently than them. He's had.
You hear what she just said? Kyler Murray has done it more recently than them. Do y'all understand something? Kyler Murray was injured last year, right? But when he got healthy, he couldn't get back on the field. And guess who their quarterback was? Jacoby Brissett, a well-traveled journeyman. And he kept Kyler Murray off the field and eventually got Kyler Murray released. Now let's continue.
Some injuries, but he's had some really nice seasons. And when you surround a guy like that with a really good defense, a good running game, and some talent, who knows what he might be able to do.
Now, do you hear what she just said? She said if you surround Kyler Murray with a good defense and some excellent talent, you don't know what he's capable of doing. That's what we've been saying about Shedeur Sanders. Surround Shedeur Sanders round with some great talent offensively, especially the offensive line, a great playmaking receiver. You already got a good defense. And let's see what Shedeur is capable of doing. That's why I told you guys. The Cleveland media wants everybody but Shedeur Sanders. Because what Mary Kay just said the other day, it don't even measure up to what she just said yesterday morning on the Wake and Bake show with Earl the Pearl. Y'all got to excuse me for calling out Mary Kay the way I'm calling her out. And I hope Mary Kay watches this show. Because Mary Kay, you got to do your due diligence, man. You got to think before you just come on 92.3 The Fan and start rambling off anything just to make a storyline. Because this don't even make sense. The switch up is real. If you played baseball, they would call you a switch hitter. You would bat from the right side and you would bat from the left. Because that don't make sense. It just don't even make sense, guys.
Mary Kay with us on the show. Well, could Miles, this is a weird question, piggybacking off the previous commentary here, but could Miles show some leadership in terms of going out and getting him? I mean, they do seem to be good buddies, good friends. Could Miles persuade him to come to Cleveland? Would that be something that they'd want to do?
Well, if they want him, I mean, you would use everything that you can to get a player like that here if you really want him that much. I haven't been able to determine yet what their feelings are or what their thoughts on it, because I think it will come down to a couple of different things, of course, as it always does, money and opportunity. He's not going to come somewhere unless he has an opportunity to start, and not just an opportunity, but some pretty good assurances that he's going to start, and you might have to back that up with the money. So,
Coach JB, check this out. Coach CJ, 888. I understand she's just giving her opinion, but stay with one storyline. You can't switch up. You can't, in one sense, you can't have it both ways. You can't say kick down the doors and go get Kyler Murray as your starting quarterback and then come out the next day and say, well, they're not bringing nobody in to upstart Shedeur Sanders. He's the guy. You know, Todd Monken loves him. There's nobody that's going to come in at this point in time because Andrew Berry is standing 10 toes down and saying that we have to go knock down nobody's doors to go find a starting quarterback. But Mary Kay said, you know, they need to go find a starting quarterback, but you're not singing that same tune. It's just like her switch up is real. Flip mode squad is the greatest. This is what we're talking about. Like I've always said, a pair of lips to say anything. And when you don't have anything to stand on and you can't come out because you don't have no credible sources no more because Kevin Stefanski is gone, you're going to make up your own storyline and your own opinions.
It comes down to those things, and there will be plenty of teams, I think, that will be interested in him, especially because of the economic.
But the one thing about the Cleveland media, they shouldn't have opinions. They should go off of facts. That's their job, to give people the actual factuals, not just state your opinion. This is what we do. We state our opinions. But if you're writing for a sports organization, you can't just be coming out putting your opinions on paper. or putting your opinions across the airwaves. You got to report on actual factuals. You can't just be making up your own storylines. We need actual factuals. That's how you get the media credentials like that, when you give the actual factuals. We can give our opinions, but they have to give the actual factuals. You can't just be making something up about an organization. You don't want to put that garbage on paper.
Mix of it all. So, you've got to provide him with some assurances that you're going to be able to come in here and get a starting job.
Were you able to get any kind of a sense, Mary Kay,
now listen to this.
When all was said and done with your reporting in Indy, about how people feel about this quarterback room and how aggressive ultimately they're really going to be?
Well, I came away from Indy thinking that the Browns were pretty content, and I don't know if that's exactly the right word, but that they were pretty ready to go forward with Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders.
Now you hear what she just now you hear what she just said? She came away. Okay, if she knowing that the Cleveland Browns have came away standing pat and moving forward with Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson, anything else that you said is irrelevant.
And see what they could do with those two guys in a competition, and then which one of those could emerge from that and what that player can do this season.
Now you heard. Now that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Because what she just said the other day don't sound nothing like what she said this morning. Oh, Bull don't like Shedeur. Bull don't even know nothing about football. Him or Jason Lloyd. Jason Lloyd is a Cleveland Guardian supporter. He does baseball. Him and Jay Crawford, they lost in the shuffle. That's why G. Bush be giving it to him the way he do. Somebody said Bull is a Bengals hearted fan. Probably so. He just lives in Ohio. So he can play, he trying to play both sides. But that's what I've been trying to tell y'all guys, man. It's what they do, man. It's what they do. But look, man, we had a great show tonight. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Appreciate all the love and support. Appreciate all my moderators that came through holding it down. Appreciate everybody that was in the chat. Before y'all leave up out of here, do me a favor, man. Drop a like on the video. Appreciate the continuous support. You get a chance, you watch any of my videos, make sure y'all drop a like on them. Comment. Hype the videos up. Let's keep running this up. Appreciate all the new people that was in the chat tonight. Appreciate you, Nicole, for coming through, representing. I know you trying to get them fresh retwist on your son so he can go to school tomorrow and do what he got to do. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate everybody. Saw some new people in the chat. Appreciate y'all coming to the channel. I don't know how y'all got here, but I appreciate you coming through. Appreciate everything that the moderators do. Appreciate you, Willie Mandingo Winchester. Keep growing and flowing. I'm gonna keep it up. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow night, live, same time, 6:45 Central Standard Time. Y'all guys, I hope everybody had a great weekend. Get ready and prepare for the work week. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. I'll be here tomorrow. Yes, indeedy. Erica, who's that? Eric Lathan, 1070. Love the show. I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that shows all the love and support coming through, just even chatting. Some people just chatting one time, but it's great. As long as y'all engage. Amber, keep doing what you're doing. I know, Amber, you wear many hats. I mean, you're a great moderator on a lot of these platforms. Keep doing what you're doing. So I'm glad that you had time to come over here this evening. Appreciate everything that you do. ADP, as always, representing and supporting. In the Dark with a Smile, Michelle, always representing and supporting and showing love. Grass and Bass, I see you coming through all the time. Like I said, I do want to take this time to say thank you to Nicole. You know what I'm saying? She took on my duties on the last show for her great interaction. And now that she's back, she had other things to do, but she was engaged tonight. So I appreciate you. A lot of support from a lot of people. So I do appreciate all the love that y'all show to KSAP, me, the man behind the mic of the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. You know, we have a whole network. We have different channels. We have Cut the Ish Real Talk Sports. We have the Crash Out Room with my brother, Bro Claude. We have the Full Court Trio. We got ADP. She be on the D block, giving reviews on where these current athletes are at this current state. We have the Players Club. We talk WNBA, Unrivaled, Angel Reese, different sports, NBA. So y'all go represent all them other channels. If y'all haven't, stopped by and said hi to them, do me a favor. Y'all go cut the Ish Real Talk Sports. So if you could do me a favor, ADP drop their YouTube channels in the link before we get up out of here. So if these people are not supporting the other people that's in the network, do me a favor. Y'all go hit my man Sly and Chill up over at Slay and Chill Networks. Yeah. Saint Love, Slay Records. They produced the track. The new intro song, they produced that. So y'all do me a favor, man. Y'all just show love, man. It's enough to go around for everybody. Just show the love. So like I said, man, appreciate all the love and support. We will be back tomorrow, same time, 6:45 Central Standard Time. A lot of love going around in this chat, and I love to see it, man. I love to see the positivity, man. I love to see that, sometimes you can root the trolls out. You don't have to pay attention. You can have fun with the trolls, but nobody is disrespectful. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in. And like I've always said, this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, KSAP. Catch you on the next one. And what do I say? Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.